Hi, I'm Cyndie Walck, and I'm a Fluvial Geomorphologist and the Watershed Program Manager for California State Parks, which includes roads and trails. Why? Because roads and trails are one of the biggest impacts on a watershed. Build them right, and you have a sustainable trail that integrates with the landscape. But build them poorly, and you have erosion, water capture, and degradation of habitat and water quality. The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, of 1990 prohibits discrimination based on disability and requires accessible facilities, including trails. There are design standards which dictate width, surface, slope, and other factors. New trail construction projects are subject to review to ensure that the trail will meet these guidelines if feasible. However, many California state park trails predate ADA, so Parks is in the process of making a reasonable portion of their trail system accessible. Grover is a small state park near Markleeville, California. Hot Springs Creek flows through the middle of the park with meadows on both sides. In the southwest portion of the park, the hot spring provides water to the public pool and then flows out onto a meadow, creating marshy wetlands. On the north side, the meadows are seasonally wet, and the campground is on the east. Campers on the east want to go soak in that hot pool, so they try for the shortest route, cutting straight through the meadow. They end up with muddy feet and in turn damage the meadow. The meadow trails were incised or downcut. They captured water, leading to more erosion, and that lowered the groundwater table late season, impacting vegetation. Thus, when there was a proposal to retrofit the park trails to ADA standards, it was a win-win for the park, visitors, and the meadow. A couple years of planning to design a layout to fit the landscape were needed. It included bridges over streams, boardwalks over the wet meadows to preserve sheet flow, and causeways on the drier sections. Construction took place over 3 seasons and cost about $900,000. The main labor force was California Conservation Corps, or CCC crews, but they need, and believe me need, a skilled technical person to lead their work. Enter Jason Porteur, our Watershed Program crew leader and expert trail builder. Jason lived and breathed this great project.
Welcome to Grover Hot Springs State Park, just outside of Markleeville, California. Grover offers a wide range of accessible recreational opportunities for all types of users. Whether it's fishing, hiking, camping, or relaxing in the hot spring, Grover has you covered. During the spring of 2018, and after years of planning, construction began to convert an existing nature trail to ADA compliant. The trail consists of rock-lined causeway, boardwalks, and bridges, and includes several paths that house benches and interpretive signs. The rock-lined causeway is built by individually placing granite stones 5 feet apart that then will contain the tread material, which we call base. These stones, which are typically 1 to 2 cubic feet, make up the foundation of the causeway. These stones are shaped by hand and are dug into the ground so that they are 4 to 5 inches above grade. They are shaped to contact the previous stone in a way that will ensure stability, longevity, and will contain the trail base. For most, this process of shaping stones is extremely tedious, frustrating, and strenuous. We use various rock shaping chisels and hammers to achieve the desired shape. My rule of thumb was that I wanted to see 2/3 of the stone put into the ground. This typically would ensure that the rock, if properly placed, would survive my kick test. Basically, if the rock could be forcefully kicked without moving. Many a stone, after having taken 45 minutes to place, were kicked out of the trail by my work boots. The kick test soon developed a nasty reputation as an unfair metric for an acceptable rock placement. I disagree. If the stone survives the kick test, and I have been shown that it is 5 feet and level from its opposing stone, the rock is approved and that lucky individual is allowed to do it all over again with a new rock. As this process is taking place, workers are importing crushed rock from a nearby staging pile. This crushed rock is spread out in between the foundation stones and will provide a flat, permeable surface for the base to rest on. If you found yourself on my bad side, you would push wheelbarrows full of crush all day. Character development. Finally, the base material can be imported and spread over top the crushed rock. We rake the base into a crown and use smart levels to keep the outside slopes to around 3 to 4%. This too is a tedious process. The base has to have the correct moisture content in order to compact to the desired hardness. We achieve compaction with a machine called the vibra plate. If the base is too wet, it will stick to the vibra plate, too dry, and it will not compact correctly. This process provided the most heartburn of anything else, and sections often had to be deconstructed and rebuilt due to incorrect compaction or grades. In addition to the rock-lined causeway, this ADA trail boasts a considerable amount of wooden features to include boardwalks, punch-ins, and bridges. Our crew has built many bridges, but a 40-foot span over Buck Creek provided several challenges that needed to be overcome. First off, we had never used diamond piers for a bridge abutment before, and all our newly constructed wooden features would rest upon a diamond pier foundation. A diamond pier is a concrete form about 1 cubic foot in size and has 4 holes that house metal pipes which are driven into the ground with a machine called a punjar, which is not unlike a jackhammer. These diamond piers are very effective in creating a stable foundation while reducing the impact and footprint of other options. When the bridge abutments were completed, the stringers could be maneuvered into place with a cable rigging system. Construction is straightforward once the stringers are secured. Decking and handrails are installed in just a few days, and multi-tier rock walls are built to raise the height of the causeway to the bridge grade. Our boardwalk through the meadow is what I consider to be the most prominent feature on the trail, and includes pop-outs, benches, and interpretive panels. While there were many aspects of its construction, the driving in of thousands of 6-inch decking screws has scarred me for life. The structure rests on a foundation of diamond piers and 4x6 Douglas fir. Atop this foundation rests the tread material, which is comprised of 3x12 redwood, and the boardwalk itself is 5 feet wide. The finished product affords users an incredible meadow experience. I recommend stargazing on a warm summer night with a glass of your favorite grape juice. Several punch-ins span micro-drainages along the trail, which are basically short boardwalks and are constructed in the same way. The final major feature of this trail construction was the rebuilding of a 70-foot bridge over Hot Springs Creek. We needed to replace all the decking and handrail assemblies to make the structure ADA compliant. We also decided to construct a pop-out on that would house an interpretive panel. The construction was straightforward, but the challenge was to keep the bridge open to the public as we worked. We achieved this by deconstructing and reconstructing simultaneously so the public could still safely cross. With the help of the California Conservation Corps, we completed the project in 3 seasons. The new trail has an average slope of less than 5% and an average width of around 6 feet. Living at the park for the past 3 seasons has been an epic experience. Grover is now one of my favorite state parks we have in the Sierra District. Alpine County has grown on me too. The many opportunities for backpacking and fishing have kept me exploring the rugged and remote wilderness areas. A day at Grover would be an early morning walk, then a soak in the tub, followed by a hike to the waterfall. Later, some fishing in the evening and fish tacos later, if successful. And of course, sitting around the fire with friends and family.